It begins quietly, not with a crash, but with a subtle hum beneath your life. A frequency, steady and unseen, shaping every encounter, every opportunity, every closed door. You can't touch it, but you can feel it in the spaces between thoughts. This is the field Nikola Tesla spoke of, the invisible architecture of reality. And whether you believe in it or not, it's already at work. Like gravity, the law of attraction is not waiting for permission. It's responding to your signal. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every belief you hold, transmits a frequency, and reality, with silent precision, organizes itself around that frequency. But here's the paradox. You may be visualizing abundance, reciting affirmations, setting goals with unwavering focus, and yet, life seems to loop back into the same old patterns. Why? The answer isn't on the surface. It lives deep in the subconscious, in the paradigms that were written long before you could speak. Bruce Lipton reminds us, the subconscious runs the show 95% of the time. Dr. Joe Dispenza calls it the program, a collection of memorized thoughts, feelings, and reactions wired into your nervous system. Even if your conscious mind reaches for expansion, your subconscious is often gripping the brake. Imagine trying to drive forward with the parking brake locked. No matter how much gas you give, the car resists. This is why the law of attraction isn't working. Not because the law is broken. Your intentions say yes, but your programming whispers no. And beneath that programming, there are older voices still. Generational beliefs, ancestral imprints, silent agreements passed down through nervous systems like heirlooms. Beliefs about scarcity, worthiness, power, and survival. They live not just in thought, but in muscle tension, breath patterns, and instinctive responses. You may say, I am abundant, but your body tightens in the chest. Your breath shortens. Your nervous system flinches from the unfamiliar frequency. This is not failure. This is data. It's the subconscious revealing itself. The field mirroring your internal broadcast. And if what you're attracting doesn't match what you desire, it's not a cosmic punishment. It's a precise reflection of the signal you're sending. The catalyst comes when you stop looking at the law as magic and start seeing it as a mirror that cannot lie, even when your affirmations do. This is where the real work begins. Pause for a moment. Feel into your life. The patterns that keep repeating. What emotion sits beneath them? What belief keeps humming in the background? Is it fear? Scarcity? A story that was never truly yours? Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches that to change your reality, you must become aware of the unconscious self. Awareness is the key that turns the lock. Without it, you're trying to paint new colors over old wet clay. This is the stirring. The moment you stop searching outside and turn toward the quiet machinery within. The moment you question not the law, but the signal. And once you begin questioning, everything starts to move. When you slow down enough, you can hear it. The subtle tremor beneath every thought. The nervous system revealing where truth lives. And where a story still holds the reins. Your mind can rehearse abundance, but your body always tells the truth. It's in the way your breath catches, the way your shoulders brace, the way your heart hesitates before receiving. These are not flaws, they are coordinates. Markers pointing to the edges of the old paradigm. Awareness begins here, not in grand gestures, but in the quiet noticing of your own signal. Like a scientist observing a field, you become intimate with the frequency you've been broadcasting. And with each moment of awareness, the field listens differently. The patterns loosen. The static clears. What once felt fixed begins to hum with possibility. And this is where the true shift begins. At first, the shift is subtle, like the quiet widening of a door you didn't know was closed. Something inside begins to soften, to open, to listen differently. Your thoughts, once tangled in survival, start to reorganize around possibility. Your nervous system, long trained to brace, finds new rhythms in the spaces between breaths. This is the beginning of expansion. Dr. Joe Dispenza calls it becoming someone else, not in pretense, but in frequency. When your inner signal shifts, the field rearranges with mathematical precision. Synchronicities multiply. Opportunities arrive like perfectly timed echoes. People mirror back the energy you've stepped into, not the one you left behind. It feels like life is conspiring in your favor. Because it is. You've tuned yourself to a higher station, and reality is playing the matching song. Gratitude swells. Moments feel electric, alive with invisible intelligence. Greg Braden calls this the language of the divine matrix, where feeling is the command signal. You're no longer asking the universe to change. You're speaking in its native tongue. For a while, it can feel like flying. The mind is quiet. The heart leads. The field responds. This is the blissful expansion phase. The golden stretch where everything clicks. But beneath the light, something ancient stirs. As your frequency rises, old patterns sense the change. The subconscious does not yield its throne without a response. It's designed to keep you in the familiar, even if the familiar has kept you small. And so, the descent begins. It doesn't announce itself with drama. More often, it begins as a quiet doubt, a subtle contraction in the chest, a thought that whispers, "This can't last." The nervous system, long accustomed to lower frequencies, detects the unfamiliar and tightens. The old paradigm pulls on the edges, testing the structure of the new. This is the dark night, not as punishment, but as purification, like a river meeting rocks. Your rising current exposes what no longer fits. The unintegrated memories, the ancestral echoes, the nervous system's inherited caution. These pieces emerge not to shame you, but to be seen. Bruce Lipton reminds us, the subconscious is habitual, not malicious. When you elevate your frequency, you're asking the system to rewrite its oldest codes. It resists, not because you're unworthy, but because safety was once defined by the old vibration. The bliss you felt is real. The descent does not cancel it. It reveals where light has yet to land. Many turn back here. They mistake resistance for proof of failure. But the wise understand. This is the crucible, the place where expansion meets embodiment. The nervous system contracts like a muscle learning a new movement. Shaking is not weakness. It's recalibration. Emotions surface that you thought you outgrew. Stories echo that no longer fit the life you're creating. And yet, if you can stay present, something extraordinary happens. Awareness stretches. The observer grows larger than the storm. And in that still witnessing, the patterns begin to lose their grip. The field does not abandon you here. It mirrors your courage back to you. Every shadow surfaced is an invitation to deepen. The descent is sacred. It is the space where new frequencies stabilize, where wisdom is forged, where old identities dissolve. It's the valley between peaks. And if you can walk through it without labeling it as wrong, you emerge different. Not because the world changed, but because you did. This in-between is where many souls pause. It's neither the old story, nor the fully written new one. It's a threshold, a liminal field where timelines sway like tall grass in unseen wind. Your nervous system wants certainty. The mind craves clarity, but the field asks for trust. Not blind hope, but embodied faith. Faith that the expansion you felt was real, even when the night stretches long. This is where you learn to walk in the dark without losing your song. To let the silence hold you, instead of rushing to fill it. To let your awareness grow roots, even as old frequencies dissolve. In this pause, the future listens. Integration arrives quietly, not as fireworks, but as a deeper breath you didn't know you were holding. The nervous system, once braced for impact, begins to unclench. Thoughts and emotions, once scattered like static, start moving in harmony. The old paradigm still whispers, but its voice no longer decides. This is where awareness becomes lifestyle, where what you noticed in meditation, you start living between grocery aisles, traffic lights, and morning routines. Dr. Joe Dispenza reminds us, true change isn't measured by the peak moment, but by who you are when no one is watching. You begin to inhabit your signal, not as a performance, but as your natural state. Fear still knocks, but you no longer hand it the keys. Scarcity whispers, but abundance sits at the head of the table. The nervous system learns a new language of safety, not through force, but through repetition, trust, and gentle coherence. Integration is a return to rhythm. The rhythm of your breath aligning with your thought, your words aligning with your heart, your actions aligning with the signal you've chosen to emit. Bruce Lipton would say, "You've rewritten the subconscious program. The parking brake is off. The car moves with ease." As the inner world stabilizes, the outer world follows suit. The field no longer reflects confusion. It mirrors clarity. Opportunities flow, not as random blessings, but as precise echoes of your embodied frequency. You no longer chase alignment. You are alignment. Embodiment is where the mystical meets the mundane, where quantum principles stop being concepts and start becoming posture. It's the way you walk through a room, the way you breathe before you speak, the way you choose presence over performance. Small acts become portals. A glass of water becomes a ceremony. A walk becomes recalibration. Conversations become altars where truth is honored. Dr. Joe calls this living as if, but by now, the as if has dissolved. You're no longer pretending to be the future you. You're remembering that you always were. This embodiment carries into how you serve. Greg Braden reminds us, coherence ripples. Your frequency becomes medicine, not through preaching, but through presence. Some days it looks like bold creations. Other days it looks like quiet compassion. Both are sacred. In this phase, success is no longer measured by the noise you make, but by the coherence you maintain. By evenings that end in soft exhales, and mornings that begin with a true yes. By the gap closing between inner weather and outer words, you begin to trust silence again. Not as emptiness, but as intelligence. The same field that once mirrored your fears, now reflects your devotion. And devotion, once embodied, moves mountains quietly. This is the living law. Not a trick to get what you want, but a way of being that magnetizes what matches your truth. It's not about controlling the field, it's about resonating with it. The paradigm has shifted, not because the rules changed, but because you did. Take a breath, feel into where this lands in your body. What part of you is integrating now? What old whisper is finally growing quiet? And as you sit with that, I invite you to share below. What part of your journey is moving through integration, or unfolding into embodiment? Your reflection might be the exact frequency someone else needs to hear. Remember, this is not a finish line. Integration is a living practice. A conversation between your awareness and the field, spoken in the language of consistency. Some days the signal will sing, clear and strong. Other days, it will tremble like a new flame. Both are part of the rhythm. Trust the slow weaving. This is how paradigms become embodied realities. Not through force, but through steady resonance. Like roots deepening in unseen soil, your frequency anchors through devotion, not performance. So take another breath. Feel the quiet strength beneath the words. You are the change becoming visible, and in that breath, the journey folds into itself, not as an ending, but as a doorway, one you've been walking toward, and through, all along.